Minecraft 1.19 introduces the Mangrove Swamp. This is a brand new biome filled with brand new blocks and even a brand new tree. However, there's something that a lot of people have argued, and that's that it needs a structure to feel more alive, perhaps even free. And in fact, if this is you, I've got something I think you'll need to see, because I've got a series of seeds, all of which excite me, and they all contain villages inside of these mangrove swamps. And I want to show you each of these seeds today because some of them end up in very crazy situations where multiple structures collide, a nether portal inside of a village house inside of a mangrove, and yeah, we need to dive into each of these individually and explain what's going down. Anyway, hello, I'm AbbyXToyCat, and I love to share seeds that I think are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way, and this definitely fulfills that because you spawn right here on top of the mangrove swamp, except there's also a village right next to it. How does this happen? The simple answer as to how a brand new type of village exists without it really existing is that the village technically spawns over there in the plains biome. You spawn right on the edge of a mangrove swamp on a plains, and because the village is in a plains biome where they're technically allowed to be, a plains village spawns in its entirety with villagers that you know, love, and probably expect, and then there just happens to be a mangrove swamp which, you know, goes right into the building of this, and this means that there is a pathway which follows right into this swamp, which is covered in these, you know, like mangrove leaves and roots, and it's a very interesting thing to look around because this is a village unlike one you've probably ever seen before. It looks weird, it looks out of place, and it's such an interesting way to start a Minecraft world because you still have that great advantage of a village, but you also get to see the mangrove swamp with all of its fun benefits, apparently including tropical fish out there in the water, but also including, obviously frogs, including the brand new type of wood, which you can build out of immediately, and also just including, you know, mud and all of the new terrain blocks. It really is fun being able to spawn yourself one of these, and it's just so interesting as you look around. One of like earlier I spawned into this seed, and there was a villager just climbing around the vines. Even the villagers find these interesting, and it's totally worth checking out if you want to see a seed where you immediately spawn right into the action, right into a brand new swamp biome, right underneath, even in this case, a brand new type of tree, although it's one block too high for me to actually punch, so we have to stack ourselves up and then get it. Oh, isn't that interesting, by the way? If you place one of these leaf blocks on the dirt, it breaks the dirt, but naturally speaking, all of these blocks have spawned there. However, yeah, that's interesting. Minecraft. It doesn't always make sense, but it sometimes pretends to. So the second seed I'm sharing with you looks more like this. You spawn in the natural plains village part of it. However, the upside to that, besides apparently spawning right into an iron golem, which you can obviously use to your heart's content, spawning right into a village changes profession, is the fact that you can see this one is on a hill, which is a much more interesting start for a biome, right? I mean, it goes without saying that having the mangrove swamp combined with a village is fascinating and is basically a whole brand new structure in and of itself, even though it's technically just using an existing structure in the game. You know, the village file just happens to be expanding to this new biome. But what goes without saying is that when you combine this with other terrain pieces, you get very interesting overlaps. In this case, it's not just a plains village, which happens to go into a mangrove swamp. It's a plain village that goes into a jungle. So this is some of the greenest grass you'll find in Minecraft. But also, it goes... Okay, oops. I think I fell into a very big hole. But yeah, it's the fact that you can have these big gaps that I'm gonna have to get myself out of. This seed is really interesting because you spawn right into a mangrove swamp. Very interesting stuff by itself, but also you have right here the village expanding into this hill and the mangrove swamp doing the same. It seems as though the biomes are like fighting each other for dominance here, because look at that mountaintop right there. It looks like that there's no way a mangrove swamp should be going that high up, but because it's trying to transition from the acacia savanna biome and / all the jungle right into one of these, it creates this very strange terrain instead. Also, look at the size of this mangrove swamp at spawn. You're never going to run out of places to explore it, and also it's high enough up that you can climb above the trees and get a lovely bird's eye view. Isn't this the sort of village spawn you want? Okay, let's be honest, it's more about the mangrove swamp than the village, but it's still absolutely delightful, and it's just the second of the seeds we're showing off today. As you can see, this is a spawn where the second you load in, you're surrounded by villagers of the desert type, because yeah, this isn't just limited to the plains village. It turns out any village type can merge with a mangrove swamp. It just so happens that they have to spawn next to each other, and this is a really interesting spawn location. Not just because we've got a desert village which expands out into the ocean, but also into the mangrove Mangrove Swamp, but also because the fact that this Mangrove Swamp is very big, and not just in the one direction, it dwarfs us in every single direction. As this villager is going to lead us to find out, if we're up here, you can see that we're literally surrounded on all sides. There is desert in the very far distance over there, but otherwise you have Mangrove Swamp in every single direction, which makes this feel more like a overwhelming, like, you know, I don't know, Amazon forest, like scary, oh my god, how am I going to get out of this style swamp, which is kind of nice in my opinion. Like, if you want to be, you know, all surrounded by a biome, you want to do a pure one block style survival, or one biome style survival, this is the size biome for you. It is amazing, it's mega, and it just so happens to also have villagers right where you spawn in. In fact, you might notice that's the common trend. In fact, have we collected the seeds based on the fact that they do have villagers in there? I think we have. I think that's the whole point of this video. Do you think that too? Because if so, you might enjoy the fourth seed, which I want to mention was found by Cracked Magnet. And this seems like it's a nice enough spawn. You've got your savanna biome again, you've got your mangrove swamp, you've got some form of village over here, except this time, as you can see, it's a little bit more unique than normal because we have a ruined portal mixed in with this house. It's actually almost perfectly mixed so that they the two structures coincide perfectly. However, if your concern is having villager buildings light on fire, then this is a terrible seed because within a matter of seconds, you're going to see the fire is going to spread onto that house. And if that's what you like, then enjoy as the villager burns to death. But if it's not what you like, also I can't put on this helmet for some reason. I want to put it on, damn it. Anyway, as you can see, this is a swamp village, which spawns with a village right next to a swamp. This one has a lot less overlap than the previous seeds. However, it is also good if you want to have the kind of like it crosses multiple biomes that it shouldn't be in kind of effect. And it's also pretty good if we head right round here for that pathway that leads you directly to the biome you want to go to. It is a very small amount of this biome which overlaps into the Mangrove Swamp, and you can see that the villagers aren't actually swamp villagers on this particular version of the beta we've loaded up on, because this is currently counting as no biome. Right now, this technically isn't a swamp. It's a mangrove swamp, and so they're neutral villagers rather than plains or swamp villagers. But still, if you look around this place, you can see that, like, yeah, this is some weird terrain that looks nothing like the world we were just in a few seconds ago, but that is the beauty of Minecraft. Some seeds will spawn you just at the confluence of multiple biomes, and being able to see, like, yeah, plains into acacia, into mangrove swamp this quickly, with the village just to really drive it home, it's very nice, and it also provides a lovely view from your little cabin. I mean, it's his cabin, but it's my cabin now. So, yeah, I've got another seed, though, I want to show you that kind of takes the cake on things being a little broken. Because when you type in this seed, and again, Minecraft 1.19, very interesting update, lots of things going on, but one of the things you might enjoy the most is this one, because you spawn directly on top of a mangrove, which gives you just immediately the view. Honestly, if you need to try out a mangrove swamp seed for 1.19, this is the one that I will jump to as my recommendation first. It's got really good visibility from spawn, which is just great in any seed, because it allows you to decide, okay, I'm gonna go for a mesa or a swamp or a desert today, I'm gonna go for the jungle today, I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna experience this today. You know, you've got lots of options from spawn, but one of those options is, of course, a village. So getting down from here is a little dangerous. I recommend using the fountain, as you can see. Right here, we're in the village, everything's fine. All of the villages are jungle villages for reasons that I can't tell you. I mean, they're not in a jungle right now, but as you can see, you get the other rare type of villager, as well as potentially the one that we would expect from this. But then here's the other amazing thing. Do you see that fire over there? Do you see how there's a little bit of a fire that's already started? That's because this is a village. You spawn on top of a tree, which actually, that's not even a mangrove tree. You just spawn on top of a tree into a village, which leads into a mangrove swamp. It's a very, very thick one, so following the path will get tricky, but if you follow the path long enough, you'll eventually end up right here into a, as you can see, a ruined portal. There is a nether portal partially formed, including the pit of lava, spawning right here, surrounded by so much woodland that you just know is going to burn immediately, and I think that's the beauty, right? You can get all your helmets that you want, and you can not equip them, you know, throw them right in the lava. You can get, also, flint and steel, that's actually pretty good. This is the arson seed. Huh. The flint and steel's not working either. Is there something wrong with my control input? Huh. That's strange, huh? That is very... Very, very interesting. I wonder what's causing that. Anyway, though, as you can see, this is the most ridiculous pairing of three things that shouldn't have... Like, again, it's an example of what Mojang doesn't expect when they release an update, or if they do expect it, they don't know what it's going to look like. It is an example of a brand new biome, which they added to the game and looks really interesting because of the new tree generation and everything else. Then that combines with a village, which is already very interesting, and then that combines with a ruin portal, and the way these things have to spawn. Look at the wood cover above this. Look at the village house being cut in half. Like, there's no bed in here anymore. You know, the fact that all of this happens together just makes for some beautiful terrain that you wouldn't expect. This is called Emergent Behavior, and it's the idea that, yeah, you can program lots of, you can make lots of individual interesting systems, but the way that they behave together is something that is so hard to expect, and that's why it's beautiful to check out these seeds and these very interesting things, and that is why I always enjoy checking these out. By the way, just I want to say, for the last while, basically every 1.19 seed we've shown for a while has been from Cracked Magnet. He has been the Minecraft Bedrock guy, working out the like actual seed maths to see why things are possible, why aren't they, and yeah, given that there are such big changes that have happened to make seed generation like this possible, it's amazing to show off, but these are just 5 of the many, many seeds. In fact, you know, rather than showing off 5 seeds for a video, 5 is such a generic number, let's go for a 6th one. Let's show you one more seed today. I think Minecraft is broken. Because it really does astound me that this is something which hasn't just happened once, but which we can prove has happened dozens and dozens and dozens of times. No doubt it's happened millions of times if you check every single seed out there, but the fact that there are many seeds where you can find jungle and swamp villages and mangrove swamps and different types of villages right at the spawn is something that really does show me that there is an infinite world of amazing seeds out there. You just gotta look for them. Also, should have said it at the beginning, and I'm sure we'll add that on screen, but these are for Bedrock only. There is an interesting difference right now that every one of these seeds, every Minecraft Bedrock seed and Minecraft Java seed is the same, with the exception being the structures. So if you try this on Java, what you'll end up finding is a bunch of interesting spawn locations right into a mangrove swamp, but the villages won't be here because structures and the exact placement of trees and stuff haven't lined up, even though they made sure that biomes do. So that's an interesting difference you might find quirky. You might also find this seed quirky just because it allows you to go straight into farming sugarcane. Do you want an insane sugarcane farm? Do you want the sugarcane to look like this? Actually, what does sugarcane look like in a swamp? Why don't we go right now and find out? I think we'll... Oh, also, it grows on mud. Today we learned. But, you ever wanted to farm inside... Again, 1.19 style sugarcane farms. You grow them in swamps, you grow them on mud, and you grow them immediately from spawn because there are some nutty seeds that will allow you to do precisely that. And that's before we talk about the 3 different villager types. That's a baby desert villager. That's a adult regular villager, like a non-biome one. And then we've got, as well as both those guys, we've got jungle villagers all cohabitating the same space. This is truly, in my opinion, a sign that, you know what, world peace can be found. No matter what the color of your skin tone or your outfit, we can all get along as long as we spawn in the same mangrove swamp. And just remember that next time you're loading up a Minecraft world. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope you found these seeds inspiring. If you did, I'd appreciate a like and or subscribe. I know you don't need to subscribe to see more of the videos, but I'd appreciate it anyway. Just if you like Seed Sunday and want to see more of this, because it is one of my favorite series. I love seeing interesting seeds, and if you do too, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on, because I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.